Okay, we are recording. Welcome to the Ohana Leadership Training. Today we are lucky enough to hear from Jenny Langston, and we're going to do a little bit of a review, not review, but kind of just go over a little bit of what her presentation was in Bear Lake, setting intentions, creating a vision for yourself, and we want to talk a little bit about what you have done since coming home from Bear Lake that has helped you in setting that intention. And I wanted to start with just a little bit about our morning, the miracle morning. And I don't know, by raise of hands, does anyone do this where they have like time in the morning where they set intentions and have some time for themselves? Anyone? Maybe, maybe not. Okay. Well, we want to talk about that. Yeah, Andrea, she does. Anyway, I think it makes such a huge difference in your day, and I found that I've just been starting to do this in the last few weeks. And there's a phrase that my husband's work they use a lot, and it's called, they say, don't be lazy, and what it stands for is lots of action, zero yield. And I have found that to be so true as I started coaching and signing up more clients. As I started to do a lot of work, busy work, and it wasn't always things that were bringing yield. They weren't really the things that mattered. And does that make sense? I think we kind of run around with like a chicken with our head cut off, like, oh, I have to send them the text, and I need to do this, and I need to post, and and it's like you do lots of activity, but you're not necessarily intentionally doing things that are going to help your business to grow or help you to become a better coach. So we want to kind of just really dial in on how to be more intentional and help you. And we want to definitely have this be, something that we can all share together. And the cool thing is that you guys on here know so much, and you've all grown so much, and you have great ideas. We want to be able to share that and learn together. So Jenny's going to give us some good stuff to kind of think about, and then and I want you to be thinking about some things that you've changed as you came home from Bear Lake, or just even some things that you do that seem to help you with setting your intentions and having that vision for yourself. Jenny, go ahead.
Okay. Haley, can you hear me? Can you hear me okay? No?
Yeah, I can hear you, Jenny.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I muted myself.
Okay. No, you're good.
Go ahead.
It's so funny. Like I feel like I'm talking to myself, so I always have to ask that. So this has become a topic that has really been such a big deal for me in this process of coaching. So we all know that as you become a coach, all of a sudden it's really the personal development aspect that you didn't expect to start occurring. And I just found over time that I really needed to work on myself, and so that I could be there for and be on my A game for my clients and for my family and for all the different hats that I wear. And what I found is that if I woke up in the morning and immediately got on my phone and immediately my day took off, and I didn't ever get that time back. I never was able to, felt like I was doing catch up all day long. And so I just really made an effort to try to switch that. I love downloading books on Audible and working on my personal development. And so one of the big things that I have really implemented is kind of like the miracle morning idea, if you've listened to that book ever. But I kind of adapted it to work for me. So I do wait to turn on my phone or even look at it until my morning is off to a great start. And that's the part of the mindfulness that I want to talk about. So it's just ended up being just such a huge, important part of my day. And when I take the time to do this, I'm telling you, your day is going to go so much smoother, and you're going to be so much more productive because you're starting with intention and you're starting with a clear vision. So, so three things that I really like to focus on are goals, having goals, progress towards those goals, and positivity. So the positivity part of it is such a big deal. And that's how I begin my day. So I actually even went as far as to start my own little yoga studio in my office. So I actually start my day out with yoga. You don't have to do that, but I would recommend some deep breathing exercises. And it sounds too simple, like for real, like seriously, like deep breathing, but it is so important because it really does help your brain just calm down, and you can just think through your day and set those intentions. And so so deep breathing, and then you know, meditate, think about your day, think about the things that you want. So we know that the things that we focus on in our lives are the things that we will get. You get what you focus on. And so kind of making that switch in your mind from the negative self-talk to the positive is so important. So I am statements, if we're telling ourselves, I am overwhelmed, I am not successful, I am, you know, not as healthy as I want to be, you know, all those different things. But if we switch them to, I am happy and healthy, I am making a difference, I am committed, you know, all of those things, I am courageous. Instead of saying I am so scared, saying I am courageous. It just makes such a huge difference in your day and how it flows. So so kind of those I am statements are really important. And at the retreat, I shared a daily script that I read every day. And you can write your own daily script. It's just basically what you want to create in your life and what you want. And you can stretch it. Like, you don't have to, you have your current reality, right? And then we have where we want to be. Write down where you want to be, because there's something really powerful about pen to paper. And when you actually write it down, it confirms in your mind what you want, and you will automatically be drawn to that, especially if you're writing and reading every day. So write down your daily script of what you want to create in your life and what your goals are, and watch your things just happen and just flow. So it's amazing how things just start to flow in such a magical way when we really tune into that mindfulness part of our day and begin our day that way, instead of checking our phone and letting our day just take off before we have time to think through it and set our intentions for the day. So so that's kind of really honestly the secret to making every day really meaningful and really count. At least that's what's worked for me. When you believe you're successful, you start making those successful decisions, and everything just starts becoming just a lot easier. And remember that it also keeps us in a learning mindset. Sometimes we get kind of stuck in some old habits or old mindset, and this opens up our mind to absorb new ideas, and keeps us open and curious, which we're taught in Optavia to do. We always need to be working on that learning mindset, that growth mindset, being willing to learn and realize we don't, that we need each other, and we need to learn and grow through that personal progress piece. So I did mention at the last training in Salt Lake, our battles, daily battles, are won and lost in our minds. And it's so true. Like it's all about our mindset. And once we really key into that, because what you think you become, what you feel you attract, and what you imagine you create. And one of probably the biggest thing I'll just leave you with, and then I'm going to open it up. But the biggest thing that I have keyed into that has been pretty much a game changer for me is gratitude. And just when I think back about 10 years ago, I was not in a good place. And I just felt like the world was against me. Nothing ever worked out for me. Everybody had it so much easier. And I was in this scarcity mentality and, was doing the opposite of everything I'm describing right now. And everything was it seemed so bleak and terrible. And I just made a decision one day that I didn't want to feel that way anymore. And I decided I was going to be grateful for what I had, and everything changed. I felt like immediately I was like, what's going on? Like everything started to flow, everything started to feel good. And it all started with gratitude. And I was reading a book, Remembering Wholeness, which I highly recommend. And she talked about gratitude being the highest vibration that you can send out to the universe. And it all made sense to me why everything started flowing so much better, because gratitude is everything. And if we have gratitude, then everything just flows so much better in our life. So that's one thing I would recommend. And then journaling. I showed this at the retreat, but I got this mindfulness journal on Amazon, and I love it because it gives you prompts of things that you can journal about. So I highly recommend a journal, and just taking that time every morning to really set your intentions for the day. So we're going to actually open it up. Anyone who's at the retreat, we would love to hear what you're doing to improve your morning and your day, and keying into this mindfulness. So if anybody has anything to share that way, we would love to just talk about that, or share some ideas. So we're going to open that up. So just take yourself off mute, and let's discuss this a little bit. Anybody have anything they want to share?
So I wasn't at the retreat, but I can comment quickly. I've heard some of these things, and I think somebody was talking about your presentation, Jenny, at the retreat. And so I usually am at work at 6:30 in the morning, and so I thought I'm going to try to get an extra hour each morning. And so I've started getting up at 4:30 each morning now, just to do those things, just to try to get some extra time, just to be intentional about what I'm going to accomplish that day. And for me, it's been huge, just having that extra hour to listen to a podcast, to listen to. I love listening to audiobooks, which is so funny because before I started with you guys, really, I never listened to books or read anything, and I've probably listened to 20 or more this last few months. You know what I mean? So for me, just it has been huge. I feel like I accomplished so much more having those intentional goals to accomplish each day, and just setting aside that time to accomplish that, and not really get on my phone and look at all the things that have gone on, or what emails have come in from work, or whatever disasters or whatever's going on that's going to make me frazzled for the day, and just setting aside that time to try to accomplish something personally each morning. That's been great. So anyway, hopefully that helps.
Yeah.
Thanks, Blaine.
That's awesome. Yeah, go ahead, Haley.
Yeah, I was just going to say, there's this quote by Jeffrey R. Holland I love, and he says, what happens in the first hours of the morning will mark your day, will mark your week, will mark your mission, will mark your life. And I've been thinking a lot about that and what I do in the morning. And a lot of it has to do with my personal development, but it also has to do with how I send my kids out into the world every morning. And I think that's, I've had mornings where it's been chaos and yelling and hurry and you're late, and the chaos. And when I start my day with my own personal development, whatever that looks like for you, it could be meditation, it can be yoga, it can be prayer, it can be scriptures. It can be reading a personal development book, meditation, whatever that looks like for you. I think it just gets us in the right frame of mind. And I love that Blaine, wakes up that extra hour earlier. I think that's super hard to do, but I think it comes back to getting to bed on time at night as well, right? Like we know we need sleep. That's health that we sleep. So that also takes planning throughout our day and getting to bed at a good time and not, staying up. And one thing that I've read recently is that if you can even prepare the things that you need to do the night before by writing them down, like I got a planner, and I'll write down kind of my schedule for the next day, like at 7 or 8 at night. So I don't have to be thinking through, you lay in bed and you're like, oh, I need to do this tomorrow and this tomorrow. And by putting it on paper, I get it all out of my head so that I can go to bed at night. So my brain's not reeling at night thinking of all the things that I need to do the next day. So that's helpful too, is just that preparation earlier on where you can kind of get those things down on paper is really powerful as well. Anyone else? I mean, I'm sure a lot of you would love to share, so go ahead.
Hey, I'll go a little bit. So Haley, I loved what you said about writing things down before, because I found myself in the mornings, I have all those things I have to do that day in the morning, and it takes me away from really being mindful, like a really breathing, because I'm like, oh, I have to text her too. I have to do that. I have to do that. And if I have it written down the night before, I can really be present in the morning with my thoughts and with my intentions, instead of worrying about if I'm going to miss something that I need to have done, or if I didn't get something on my calendar. And I love being able to, and I actually have struggled with this because I've always told myself that I'm a night person. I'm not a morning person. And so trying to switch that mindset has been something I've struggled with my whole life, because my husband is a total morning person. He gets up at 3:30 or 4 and goes running and does all these morning things, and he'll help get the kids their lunches and all that stuff, because I just, in my brain, I've always been someone who, I get the stuff done late at night, or I stay up late with the kids, or I get up in the middle of the night when they're sick or whatever. So I take care of the nights, and he's always taking care of the mornings. But I find that I need that sleep, but I need to be able to have that morning time with myself, with my children, so that I can feel productive throughout the day and not like I'm not spinning my wheels. And so it really has been a transition for me, trying to go to bed earlier with my husband instead of staying up late with doing other things, and working on getting that sleep, and then waking up. And if I can just wake up and get up out of bed, I'm good as gold. But it's that initial thing. It's that mindset training that we're always working on. So that's one thing I'm actually working on right now, is getting up earlier. I would love to be able to get up at 4:30, but that's terrifies me. So right now I'm thinking if I can get up even at 6:30, like a half an hour earlier, and have that time before I send my middle school kids to school, that I can just be me and then get them out the door. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out how this will work for me. And holy cow, if I could get up at 6, I would be so productive. And so it's just, I love that we're having this today, because it's actually something that's been on my mind, on what can I do to really be more productive with my time, and recognizing that this is the answer. Like I need to start telling myself I am a morning person. I am able to do this, and it's something that it's one of my goals this week. So thank you.
Awesome. I love that. Can you hear me okay? Since I'm not like the one in charge, I don't know if I'm jumping in and not being heard, but I think it's fun to share what's working for us. And I think it's true. Like he does talk about that in the Miracle Morning, where just 1 hour ahead of where we would normally wake up sets the tone for our day in the most amazing way. And I love to exercise as well. So that was something I didn't bring up. but adding that in for me is really important. So I think you find the things that really work for you, but you have to take that time for yourself. And then all of a sudden, everything just flows so much easier, and everything is just, yeah, it's just a better day all around. And I miss it when I notice if I don't take that time for myself first thing in the morning. So anyone else doing anything in the morning that's working for them?
I'll just take a second. As I was listening to this, I've been getting up about an hour early as well, because for me, going to the gym, like Blaine was saying, getting up that extra hour. I like what you were saying about the working out. It just does something for your mind, and it just helps clear your mind, prepare you for the day. I believe it's helped me a ton. But also, there was a video circulating around on Facebook a while back, and it probably still is, but talks about his military guy talking about the first thing you do in the morning is make your bed. It sets you up for the entire day. And it's true, because I get back in the gym. I can't make the bed before I go to the gym because my wife's still in bed. But I get back and she's getting ready for work. And so first thing I do is I'll make the bed, because I feel like then I've already accomplished one thing. And I feel like I am being so productive already. And then I can tackle anything else. So that's just a little thing that I've been doing. So
That's awesome. I love that. Yeah, starting your day off with just something simple like that is it's so important, because yeah, it's like you already feel accomplished. You already feel like I've got a plan for the day, and I'm moving forward, and I'm going to be productive and successful. So that's awesome. I love that. I've heard that before too. I did see that when it was circulating. That's awesome.
Hey, I have one. Sorry, I've been cleaning and stuff. But I do the same thing. I get up early, at least an hour or two before my kids, because I like to have the time as well. And I do the gratitude. I write it all down. And then another thing I've been doing is, it's actually from Rachel Hollis, but I think I was even doing it before, but you write down, so you do your like 5 or 10 things of gratitude, and then also write down like 10 things as if they've already happened, like in the present tense. So what type of mom you are, what type of wife you are or spouse, you know, what your business is like, what your home life is like, you know, and just list all your kind of dreams and goals as if they've already happened. And, you know, what kind of rank it is, what kind of income you're bringing in, all those different things. I'm debt free, you know, that type of thing. I think is really helpful. Just kind of see yourself in the future.
Yep. That's perfect, Amy. That's the key right there, is because we become what we think about and what we believe. And you kind of can look at where's my belief and where's my action, and then put them together, and all of a sudden it's really pretty magical, because you do have to have that belief in order to, the action will follow. So awesome. I love it. Anyone else?
I think we could probably do a whole training about affirmations. And I think it's like the new weird thing. It was like first meditation and now affirmations. It's like, what is this stuff? But honestly, I've talked to my kids a lot about this. And as I've tried to change my mindset with, you know, focusing on what I want to create in my life versus what I don't want anymore, I've talked to my kids about it, and they're like, okay, then I want $1 million, you know? And I'm like, okay, that's the crazy part about it, that you're, you know, that's not what we're saying. But what you are trying to achieve in your life and become, your brain doesn't know the difference, right? And so it can be a little bit of a stretch. But there's this quote, it says, by believing passionately in something that does not exist, we create it. The non-existent is whatever we have not sufficiently desired. So in order to become something, it has to become an idea of an actual goal that we can obtain, because I think we get stuck in that I can't ever be that, or I can't ever be that person, or I'm not, we tell ourselves a story like Krista was saying, like this has always just been who we are. Like I don't wake up early and I'm a night owl, or I'm not good at public speaking. Like I've said that so many times and I'm still not good at it, my concepts, right? But I keep telling myself, and we keep doing that with what Amy said, is you start to say things that you want to have happen in your life. And saying those things are so powerful. Just like we would never say to our kids that they're dumb or that they are terrible at reading or whatever, because those things they start to believe, and then they start to act in that same way. So I think if we look at it like what we would say to our kids, we would never say those things, but we find ourselves saying them to ourselves. So look at what your thoughts are creating and start those affirmations. But we're over time. Thank you so much for sharing. And I appreciate Jenny's so much. She's so good at this. And she's been such an influence in me really looking at how to start my day and creating what I want. And I just think it's a great place to really reflect on some of your goals and what you want to create in your life. And so thank you for your examples and for what you've shared today. Next week, we're going to talk about sponsoring and verbiage and our Coach Explore calls. We do want to see who would be willing and able to participate in some of those. So we'll kind of ask that on our Ohana thread with who's willing to participate and be a part of those Coach Explore calls. We want to get some other faces and coaches in there. And then in the following week, we're going to talk about creating. We haven't asked Krista, but Krista, we want to see if you want to help us with going back to the creating space and the mechanical part of organizing your time or not your time, but organizing your business, like on a whiteboard. So thank you so much for your participation, and have an awesome day. See you guys.